Hey guys, I normally do not do these types of video, but I've just watched the very first episode of
Kenobi!
and I just can't keep it together. I can't believe how awful this show is. I've just watched the first episode, but I'm already tired, and I don't actually know if I want to continue. And it's just so disappointing because I was so excited for it. Always, after I've watched the prequels first time in my childhood when I was like 12 years old, I've always wanted to know what's going to happen after the Revenge of the Sith when Obi-Wan just left with Yoda and was supposed to do some super training with Qui-Gon Jinn. And by the way, Qui-Gon Jinn was always one of my very favorite characters. So I was so excited to know what's going to happen. Is there going to be some new arc with him? Is it going to tie to the arc of Mortis that we had in the Clone Wars? Is it going to be something new, something truly cool and inspiring, since Qui-Gon was the very first Jedi that became one with the Force? So far, we had absolutely not a single thing about it, and it looks like it's just not going to be tied to this super training that Obi-Wan was supposed to do. It honestly just looks like it's going to be a completely different, just entirely new plot that doesn't have anything to do with what happened in the Revenge of the Sith and what was proclaimed by Yoda at the end of it when he left with Obi-Wan. It's just not going to be anything about it. So that's a first major disappointment on my side. And the second things are just the characters. Obi-Wan is absolutely tragic. He's got a full Luke Skywalker treatment from The Last Jedi. He's resigned, depressed, he's got some issues. He doesn't want to do absolutely anything. He's totally beaten down, he's just defeated, and every single regard, he's passive. He's just not Obi-Wan. He's not like he used to be. He's completely damaged and broken. He's depressed. He's making choices that old Obi-Wan would just not do. They did to him exactly the same thing that they did to Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, and it is just awful. I feel like this character just got totally damaged and deconstructed and thrown into some pit hole. Also, I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but I absolutely hate Leia Organa. Yeah, spoiler alert, there's little Leia there, if you haven't watched that already. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're getting a small Leia that's basically just like a copy paste of something between Arya Stark and Lyanna Mormont, and I absolutely hate it. Original Leia definitely was a very strong character. She had balls. She knew how to handle herself in very difficult situations, like especially with the entire action that she's pulled in the Return of the Jedi in the Jabba Palace. How she just went out there, tried to rescue Han Solo. This was really admirable. She was extremely strong person, but she wasn't boyish. Like she didn't have to pretend she's a boy. And she wasn't like snarky. She just wasn't that person. Obviously, she's cracked some comments, like she had some banter with Han Solo, especially considering their relationships, how they both didn't really wanted to admit that they like each other. So definitely she had a bit of a sharp tongue, and she knew how to talk to people, not to hold herself back. She wasn't a damsel in distress. That's definitely not the case. But she wasn't Arya Stark, and she wasn't Lyanna Mormont. She was just Princess Leia Organa. She didn't have to pretend she's somebody else. And I really don't like what they're doing to her. This is just completely unnecessary. She's already got a personality. Just, obviously you can make her a little bit more immature and maybe just give her some features that are typical for little kids, but don't make her someone else. Just don't pretend she's Lyanna Mormont or Arya Stark. This just sucks. She's not that person, and she doesn't have to be. She stands very clearly, very independently on her own. She's such a recognizable and beloved character. You don't have to change her. Just don't do it. But that's the nonsense that we're dealing with right now. Every single character has to be changed or just portrayed totally hopeless and broken like Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. This just sucks. It's so bad. Why Disney is taking that path? I don't understand why those modern adaptations or the modern movies or TV shows that explore these long established franchises, why they all have to go that path, that they portray the main characters from the original movies as some kind of dump and down, broken, depressed boys. Why is that the case? It just makes this modern production just suck. They're just really bad because of that. Let just these characters be who they originally were, who they meant to be. Why you have to go that way? There is a scene somewhere in the very beginning of the first episode when Obi-Wan just meets some runaway Jedi that basically asks him for help, and he says, what about the people that need us? We have to do something about it. And Obi-Wan just looks like Luke Skywalker and says, "Oh, the war is over. We have lost." And just tells him to go somewhere to the desert, bury his lightsaber, and just stay hidden and just don't do anything. Just just stay hidden. That's it. That's Obi-Wan. That's the Obi-Wan in this series. I will say it, I know that I am repeating myself constantly, but he really, really does look exactly the same way like Luke Skywalker does in The Last Jedi. I swear. He even throws the line, "The Jedi are gone," like Luke did. I believe somewhere in the sequels. Like, I've got no words for that. And obviously, girls must be boys. Like, just gonna utter a sight on that. Why do girls have to act like boys to be cool? All you're doing is just you're sending a message to girls that they suck and they're not cool the way they are, that they have to pretend they are boys to matter. And the worst thing about it is that the original Leia just didn't have to do that. She didn't have to pretend she's a freaking boy to stand out and matter and be a very cool, very important key character to the original trilogy, really. But now you're just destroying that right now and are showing that you must be tomboyish to have any value. And think what message you are really sending to girls, because I believe you want to do it about some feminism, woman empowerment, but what you're really doing, you're just telling girls that they're inferior to boys. That's what you are doing. If you're telling girls that they have to act like boys to matter and to be cool, then you're essentially telling them that they are inferior. That's what you are telling. Now, the main take-home line from that episode is that little Leia is getting kidnapped, and Bail Organa asks Obi-Wan for help, and he even refuses to do that. He just doesn't want to go after the kidnappers and save Leia because he's just so damaged that he says he's not the man he used to be, and Bail Organa needs to go to freaking Tatooine, find him in some cave that he's living, and just give him some coaching essentially to get him out, to get him moving, to get him to do anything. And it turns out that Leia was kidnapped by the Inquisitors, and one of them, the Black Lady, basically has got like an obsession about finding Obi-Wan Kenobi. So she's kidnapping Leia Organa because she hopes that that's going to lure Kenobi out of his hiding. But I have no idea on what basis she's presuming that. Maybe it was somehow shown in Star Wars The Rebels, which I did not watch so far. So maybe it's better explained there, but to be honest, it looks really sketchy to me. How does she know it? How? How does she even know who Leia Organa is and that she just matters to the universe? Like, it doesn't really make any logical sense unless, as I said, it's been somehow explained in Star Wars The Rebels. So I presume the main storyline is going to revolve around Obi-Wan trying to rescue Leia, and then that will probably lead to confrontation with the Inquisitors. And from what we know from the teasers, with Darth Vader himself, and that's something I was really looking forward to. I really wanted to see Hayden Christensen again as Anakin, and that actually may be the only reason why I could continue to watch Kenobi, just to see Hayden back. Yeah, that really is the only reason, to be honest. Just please, at least don't destroy Darth Vader. Just please, just leave at least this one character cool. And coming back to the characters, I honestly think the best character in this entire episode was Uncle Owen. He just looks like the Owen we know, just pragmatic, just wants to keep the peace, doesn't want to get involved in the matters of the galaxy. He just wants to live his life on his farm, and that's it. So you definitely know something is going on if, in the show titled Obi-Wan Kenobi, that explores probably the most interesting time in the entire Star Wars universe, the most interesting and compelling character is Uncle Owen. I believe that really speaks volumes about the level that show is at. So that's really it. That's really everything I had to say regarding the first episode and just my general attitude towards this show now. Let me know, guys, what you think about it, whether you agree or disagree with me, and whether you're excited for the next episodes. As I said, I didn't really make up my mind whether or not I want to continue watching it. But yeah, your thoughts are much appreciated and welcomed here. Let me know if you've enjoyed this video, guys. I normally don't do reviews, I just do unboxings. So please let me know if you would be interested more in this type of content in the future. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you around in the next one. Cheers!